me just repeat what she said because the microphone wasn't over there. And that's that she said there's an appeals process. If a person gets a rate cut or a discharge notice, they can appeal it. And actually, that's not appealable. What's appealable is the change in the service plan that would result from that.
If they get a discharge notice or reduction of service.
Yes, a move.
Yeah, and actually, and I think this is true because I think the department's not sure about this sometimes. But their position has consistently been for the last couple of years that it's not appealable, but it's grievable. And if, for those of you who know the difference, there's a grievance process at each MCO, and you can grieve, hey, I want to stay where I'm living and I don't want to go someplace different. And after if you succeed on that grievance and the MCA works it out with your provider, great. But if not, you can then appeal that into the state appeals process. But what they've been telling folks is just going into the state appeals process without the grievance doesn't work. Well, it depends on the contract. Okay, I'll repeat the question. At what rate? And that's going to depend on when the provider gave notice. And I can't advise you about that. I represent people living in your homes. I don't represent you. Talk to a business attorney about that.
I just wanted to make one more point about the question on what can we do about it. I am the executive director of one of the associations of disability service providers that works with, whose member organizations work with people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. There's 3 others. So there's the Residential Services Association, there's Wisconsin Assisted Living Association, and there's an organization called CAPOW, Community Alliance of Providers of Wisconsin. All 3 organizations are currently putting our heads together to figure out when we meet with Kitty Rose, because I talked to Kitty last week. Kitty is the Deputy Secretary of the Department of Health Services. She was eager to hear what we expected to accomplish with this meeting, and I told her I want people to have information so you can determine what level of advocacy you want to engage in, and certainly having the state legislators here helps because they're hearing the problems that you're bringing up. But aside from that, we talked about the need to have a meeting because I said, one thing the provider associations have been doing is we've been talking to independent actuarial firms who are not located in Wisconsin but work with Wisconsin. And what they're telling us is with the level of cuts that are being made, there is something wrong. There's something wrong with the actuarial work that resulted in the rates that the MCOs are being paid. And we're exploring that. And we have questions that we want to ask the department about, well, how did you come up with, what the MCOs are being paid? Because if you looked at that chart that I showed you, there's an awful lot of red up there in terms of losses from funding from last year to this year. There are some minor increases, but they came up with a new rate setting methodology for the MCOs, and we're questioning it. And so that's another thing that we're trying to do. We're hoping for a meeting in July. We have the resources of this actuarial firm to help figure out what's going on, or maybe what's gone wrong. But she knows that we're very eager to get answers on this, and that it's a system-wide problem. It's not just one MCO, there's several that are dealing with this.